I really appreciate all of you for being here today. I have Robert Barnes, a well-known constitutional, First Amendment, and criminal lawyer who also worked on this case for several years. He can give you documented evidence that we gave them all the discovery, so they didn't have a case. So they were forced to default us because I'm this villain that deserves to be found guilty by this kangaroo court. This is American justice on trial. Even the worst people in the world, which I'm not, but even if I'm a bad person, as some say, I deserve my day in court. Even the local newspaper admits I'm not allowed to defend myself. It's not Alex Jones saying this, it's the Hartford Courant, an article published yesterday. Alex Jones set to testify in Sandy Hook defamation trial this week. Here's what we know. It says he's prohibited from defending himself. They've had 3 weeks of people up there lying about me, twisting what I said, and basically have a memorial for dead children I didn't kill. All in an attack not just on the Second Amendment, but now, ladies and gentlemen, on the First Amendment of this country. This is not a trial. Now, I came here to testify 2 weeks ago. I came here this time to testify. And the judge today said that she will hold me in criminal contempt if I say I'm innocent, if I say I'm bankrupt, if I say I wasn't the first person to question Sandy Hook, and over 10 other things. No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say. I'm being ordered to perjure myself when they ask me questions, or I'll be arrested if I tell the truth. This is outrageous, and you're all having your freedoms stolen. In this article, in the Hartford Courant and many others, they say I gave over no discovery. Then on the last page, they say their whole case is based on discovery I did give them that they twisted that I can't respond to. Robert Barnes is my spokesperson. He'll be able to give a statement here, and then we'll both take your questions. Robert Barnes.
This is a case that has put the American justice system itself on trial. And the trial that has taken place here, this show trial, is an embarrassment to the rule of law in America and a disgrace and a travesty of American justice. Everybody knows you're supposed to get your day in court. Yet the one person who is being denied any day in court is Alex Jones. To such a degree that the court has made clear today that if he testifies honestly, if he testifies truthfully, he goes to jail. But if he answers the questions in the way the plaintiff's lawyers want, then he could also go to jail. No matter what he does, he goes to jail if he testifies in his own behalf, in his own defense. That is a core American right. This is a case you have to ask yourself, what is the truth that the plaintiff's lawyers are so terrified that the people hear? What is that truth? That truth is that Alex Jones participated in discovery more than any media defendant in American libel law history. A lot more than the New York Times did just down the road in New York in either the Project Veritas case or the Sarah Palin case, as is detailed in the Hartford Courant publication, which talks about the internal emails, internal documents, internal financial records, all disclosed and divulged to plaintiff's lawyers. So this is a case where there has been a big lie, a fake case about supposed fake news. It's a fake case because the story they told about Alex Jones was never true. The story they told about Sandy Hook was not true, in the sense that they blamed gun owners and blamed Alex Jones for what happened, when the reality is that school safety was not up to snuff at Sandy Hook. Democratic politicians decided to pocket money meant to protect little kids' lives, and little kids died who didn't need to die because politicians lied. That's the real truth of Sandy Hook. But they can't have any of that truth come out. They can't have the truth that Alex Jones and InfoWars had nothing to do with promoting and instigating and originating those who had doubts about Sandy Hook. That came from media professors and school safety people and people completely outside of Alex Jones and InfoWars. That's why they always had a fake case. And they won't allow them to tell the truth, because the truth would let the world know that their case is based on a lie.
And Bob, make the point you've made. You were involved in the first 2 years of the case. We gave them all this massive discovery that you see on the screen. Then they sit around and say we didn't give it to them, so we're defaulted, so we can't defend ourselves.
Absolutely. And throughout the entire time frame, I challenge anybody out there to find any media defendant who has produced as many emails, as many documents, as many internal policies, as many as in all the broadcasts that were relevant here, that has ever been defaulted. This has never happened. Default is now being used and politically weaponized to take away people's right to trial by jury. And here you're seeing it live. You're seeing it reported in the Hartford Courant. If he gets up and testifies, truthfully, he goes to jail. How is that consistent with the American legal tradition at all? How is that consistent with what we view as American law? You can hate Alex Jones all you want. Don't you want all of us to have the right to our day in court? All of us to have a right to trial by jury? Because the moment that is taken away, this is no longer American justice. This looks like Soviet-style show trial justice. This looks like justice that even Castro would have been ashamed to do in the show trials in Cuba in 1961. That is what is taking place here in Connecticut, the heart of part of the American Revolution that established these founding principles that all go all the way back to the Magna Carta. Your right to trial by jury, your right to your day in court. And Alex Jones is now being told, if he asserts that right, he goes to jail. If he testifies truthfully, he goes to jail. That is not American justice.
Not allowed to say I'm innocent because a judge says I'm guilty.
Absolutely. Not allowed to defend himself about anything. Not allowed to tell them he almost never talked about Sandy Hook. Not allowed to tell them that more than 99% of what InfoWars reported about Sandy Hook said Sandy Hook happened.
And these plaintiffs' lawyers have said here and in Texas they want me silenced, period. Well, even somebody on death row deserves their free speech. So think about that. They want me off the air because they want to shut down the American people.
No question. And in fact, he said so in the opening statement, the plaintiff's lawyer did. Why are they so scared and terrified of the truth? Why are they so afraid of the people hearing the truth? Well, if what they say about Alex Jones is true, why aren't they willing to allow Alex Jones to have his day in court? These are questions every American should ask. But more importantly, every American, we must defend the speech we most disagree with if free speech is to stay alive. This is one of the core principles of the founding generation. And that principle is at stake and at risk in this trial, which by itself has made the American justice system now in danger. Because the very things that we hold sacred in America, that we allow people a full chance to present their testimony in court, right to counsel, right to free speech, right to due process of law, all of them eviscerated simply to caricature and stereotype Alex Jones to the world and then to strip him of the means to ever talk to the world again.
And they admit they're setting the precedent for everybody else using me, just like my deplatforming 4 years ago.
Absolutely. This is about freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of press, freedom of inquiry. Here you have a case where ex-FBI agents or current FBI lawyers are suing who don't know anybody who died in Sandy Hook.
And never said their name.
How is that? If FBI agents can now sue people for raising questions about what took place in various cases, does everybody who questions the government now go to jail? Does everybody who testifies truthfully in their own defense? Do they all get bankrupted into oblivion? Because that is the future we face if we allow precedents like this to be set. They have used the historical example of Alex Jones to set the template for mass censorship and the legal weaponization of our legal system against the interest of ordinary, everyday people, and it will be turned on the rest of us if we don't turn back now.
All right, Robert, we'll take a few questions. I just want to say this on the record. I am proud of my 28 years on air, exposing Jussie Smollett being a fraud, exposing WMDs being a fraud. I always question everything. I listen to those that are questioning it's healthy and good. And I do not apologize to the system or anybody else because I did it from a pure heart. I've not been perfect. I've made mistakes, and I've apologized from those. We have a government that just blew up the gas pipeline and is starting a massive escalation of war with Russia. We live in a country with mass human smuggling across the border and a completely collapsed system. And so the establishment thinks by demonizing Alex Jones and trying to shut me down that they're going to be able to intimidate everybody else to shut up. This political establishment is collapsing and is almost universally hated. And they think by turning me into a demon, they're going to be able to scare everybody else off from telling the truth. No. The front page of Yahoo News today was reporting that Google and the UN censored hydroxychloroquine and other treatments for COVID they knew would work and help people. That's mass murder. And when the corporate media promotes mass shootings, all the studies show it encourages other mass shooters. So who is indicted is the establishment hyping mass shootings. Who is indicted is the drug companies, who almost every mass shooter has been on the so-called antidepressants on their own insert admits it can cause people to go psychotic and engage in mass killing. It's on the damn label. So people want to point at Alex Jones questioning an event that the politicians jumped on, that they hyped up, that looked like a media production, is an American people's right. I never harassed these families. I never sent people to harass them. They have no evidence of that. I didn't kill their kids. I'm not Adam Lanza. And ambulance-chasing lawyers have already gotten these people $73 million from America's oldest gun company, Remington. She bought that gun legally at a gun shop, and it's Remington's fault that Adam Lanza's mother bought that gun. That's a fraud. I'm not Adam Lanza. I didn't kill those kids, but people don't know Adam Lanza's name. They know Alex Jones's name. We'll take a few questions, and then we're going to come back later, obviously, but I want to just say this in closing. I am strongly considering tomorrow, when I get put on the stand, looking at the judge and saying, you've barred me from saying I'm innocent, this isn't a real court, so I take the Fifth Amendment. Not because I'm guilty, but because she says if I tell the truth, she'll put me in the Waterbury jail for 6 months. That's what she can do. Never before in a civil trial is the Fifth Amendment needed, but top lawyers have looked at it and say, no, she wants to put you in jail if you tell the truth. Well, I tell this judge and all the rest of the New World Order, I am innocent, and you are guilty of tyranny. And so if I go on that stand tomorrow, I'm not going to bow to what they say. I'm not sure if I'll even go on the stand tomorrow, because it's a trap. It's a spider's web. It's a fraud. But this isn't a trial where a judge finds you guilty, won't let you put on evidence or defend yourself. It's in the newspapers. When I first told the media when this case started, when this trial started 3 weeks ago, when I told you that she wouldn't let me put on evidence and that I can't say I'm innocent, you didn't believe me. Now she said it on the stand 3 times from the bench. You have heard them say that in America you can't say you're innocent. Even if Charlie Manson was guilty, he had a right to say he was innocent. Think about that. You're being robbed of your freedoms and of due process, and it's dangerous. Find out what Alex Jones really stands for at Infowars.com. Hear the show for yourself. Find out what the establishment's so scared of. Why my book is #1 in the world, The Great Reset and The War for the World, because that's what I really cover. That's what I really do. I make money off of films and books. I never made a movie about Sandy Hook. I barely covered it. That's a lie. And I did wrongfully say it was staged, and I apologized years and years before I was sued. And they went back and they picked that up and they blew it up in the media, and maybe the Sandy Hook man. I'm not. Any questions? The original people were professors that questioned it, former CIA operatives and others, and I believed them. And they never told anybody to go harass families. A few mentally ill people did harass families. I think there's some evidence of that, and that's a real thing. But the people that harassed some of the families who became public figures and met with Obama and went on TV, you know, a lot of folks that are pro-gun didn't like those families being political. I understand why the families did it. And so, yes, nobody should harass the families. I've not sent anybody ever to do that. They have no evidence of that. But that's all they bring up constantly. Go ahead, sir.
Do you feel like the First Amendment, you have a right to free speech even if you're wrong? In the past, maybe you made an error when you said some certain things on your radio show, but then you changed your mind. In America, don't we have a right to free speech?
Americans have been lied to. Americans have been lied to so much about other events that we don't believe anything anymore. And that's a crisis in the government and in the media. And so I've taken responsibility for things I've done that are wrong. The point is, what they've represented I did is not what I did, and it's a fraud. You have a question?
Yes. What's the damage cap in Connecticut? I know Texas,
Yeah, no, it's all fake news. 50 million in Texas. It's only like 5 million. There's damage caps everywhere here except on one thing, and none of it matters. I don't lose sleep at night about them giving them $1 billion. I don't have $2 million. But I can't show my finances in here. I can't show them in bankruptcy. They just misrepresent how much money I have. It's a total fraud.
You said you're not... Aren't you misrepresenting what's happening here? You say you lost the right to argue that you're innocent, but you lost that right because the judge found you in repeated violations.
Okay, so we hear this thing. The judge found you didn't give any discovery. All you see is my discovery. Up there, they're using, that's a fraud, that's a lie. They're weaponizing the judiciary. Another question? I'm not going to tell a lie. I've made mistakes in my life, but I'm not a liar. I don't read off teleprompters. I don't give it scripts. I just tell the truth. And that judge, again, admonished that I would go to jail tomorrow if I give any other answer of yes, no, or I don't know. So when they get up and say, isn't it true you made money off this? No. The judge says I'll go to jail. She says I did. It's a lie. She says, since you didn't give us evidence, I say you're guilty when we gave her all the evidence, but the evidence doesn't fit. Do you understand? This is a kangaroo trial. This is a fraud. This is a danger. All right, listen, find the truth at Infowars.com. Find out what I'm actually covering. God bless and good luck.